Ever felt a tiny tremor and wondered if it'll be the big one? You're not alone. Today, we're unearthing a topic that hits close to home for many Californians: earthquake safety. We'll get the ins and outs of making our homes more resilient. Here to share a significant anniversary that holds valuable lessons for us all, we have Janelle Maffei, Chief Mitigation Officer for the California Earthquake Authority. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and an important topic. So it's been 30 years. Why does the Northridge earthquake from January 1994 still resonate with Californians today?
Well, the Northridge earthquake was the last really significant earthquake in terms of damage. I don't want to diminish for those people who suffered in the San Simeon, the Napa earthquake, the Ridgecrest earthquake, or others, the recent Humboldt earthquakes. But in terms of just the scale of it, the Northridge earthquake really was the last direct hit on our urban environment. And it was $40 billion in damage, half of that residential, half of that insured. And we really learned a great deal how buildings perform in an earthquake. So it was a pivotal moment for California. Here we are in earthquake country, and we do need to honor these anniversaries and to remember that we live in earthquake country.
And to that, I mean, how did this seismic wake-up call change how we think about prepping our homes for the unexpected now?
Well, I'll tell you that the most important for houses, earthquakes that happened in the 70s, because we significantly changed our building codes in before 1980. So for houses, you can say pre-1980, we've really, like that house that you're looking at now has tremendous damage. And that's a pre-1940 house, which is even more vulnerable. There are other building types that we learned how they performed in the Northridge earthquake, a bit of a surprise, and we changed our building codes. That's one thing that does happen with every earthquake is we learn a little bit more about how our built environment responds in earthquakes, and we make changes to our building codes.
And let's talk about the homes being impacted. I mean, when it comes to those charming older homes we adore, or like the classic Victorian homes here in Sacramento, is it necessary that they be braced and bolted to their foundations?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that every single building that's designed and constructed in California is designed with earthquakes in mind. So even though we think of Sacramento and the Central Valley as having less risk, and they do in fact have less risk, it still is not no risk. So these very vulnerable houses constructed before 1980 may have this vulnerability. Houses constructed before 1940 do have this vulnerability, and they lack the correct anchorage to the foundation and the bracing of plywood around the crawl space. So yes, I think there are vulnerable structures, particularly older houses in the Sacramento area, that could use a retrofit.
And what does a brace and bolt retrofit entail exactly?
Well, a brace and bolt retrofit actually is pretty simple. A do-it-yourselfer, a talented do-it-yourselfer can do this, or a contractor can do this in about 2 to 3 days. And there's a particular building code section, chapter A3 in our building code, and there's some plan sets that can be done by do-it-yourselfers or contractors without an additional engineered design that go in and they specify either anchor bolts that come down from the top when you can get in there with a drill, or these foundation plates that come in from the side. And they screw into the wood and they bolt into the concrete foundation. They're going to hold that house on its foundation. And if there are these short stud walls around the crawl space, those are then sheathed with plywood. So basically we're creating shear walls. We're putting in the proper nailing, 1/2-inch plywood all the way around, and then some framing clips like you might see at your local hardware store are connecting the top of that wall to your floor up above. You're just tying on that house to the foundation and stiffening up that crawl space so it won't slide or topple off the foundation in an earthquake.
All right, all important information, especially to prep in advance, especially for those vulnerable homes. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. You can learn more by going to earthquakebracebolt.com.